You are now listening to the Epic Fail Podcast.
Greetings everyone, welcome to Epic Fail episode 79, and we are calling this our BlizzCon prediction, because that's the thing you do before BlizzCon. Anyway, with me as always, the co-conductors. Yes, both of them. We rescued Scarlet from the train tracks. That stupid person tied her up, we put her in front of the train, and it was annoying, and yeah. But anyway, Scarlet, how are you doing? What are you up to this week?
Hello. You know, I have one word to describe how my last couple weeks have been. Well, I have a few, but one of the words is legendary. It's pretty legendary today. Well, not just today. A lot of
so
days.
I don't want to hear about it, because you were the freaking luckiest person on the planet. Out of us, anyway.
So, I didn't get one legendary, and then I was all like, boo-hoo, where is it? I'm never going to get it. And then I did a mythic run with a friend of mine, and we were on Discord. And then I just did like one last world quest to complete and get my Quarter Ferondis lockbox. And a legendary dropped. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Yay, it's a really bad one. But it's cool. Well, okay, no, it's a really good one if I'm tanking mythic dungeons, because basically if I use, I gain a speed boost after I fear something, or whatever it's called. So that was a Tuesday night. Wednesday night we had raid, and I get a legendary from Cenarius, which was the back. So then I'm like, well, that sucks because I can only choose one because I still hadn't started my last thing yet. So I finally got that started. It has a week left to go. And earlier today, I was doing dailies. No, I was doing another mythic dungeon, but this wasn't plus. It was just a regular mythic dungeon, and we killed the first boss, and I looted another legendary. So, yeah. This week's... Oh, then I logged on to Diablo to try Season 8. And within 15 minutes, 2 legendaries dropped on easy mode, whatever the first instance of Diablo is, because I was level 2. I'm now level 8, I think. Or 9. I'm not 10 yet. So, anyways, yeah. It's been quite an orange time. I'm not in pain anymore, thank goodness. Do we have a troll, or is that someone's name? If someone's trolling us, that's hysterical. I like the name. If someone's not trolling us, hi, I got no teeth. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, last week I was not feeling good. Dentists are... Well, if you have to go to an emergency dentist, let's just say there's a reason you have to go to the emergency, and emergency sucks. So anyways, that was that. But how was your guys' week?
And as the 5 airplanes fly right by Scarlet,
that was not an airplane, that was a truck going down the road. Thank you.
I know, I'm picking on you. Before we get into my week, we've got Theory is here this week also. How was your week this week?
Well, I was kind of hoping that was a trash truck pulling up to her door to collect all those legendaries that she can't equip, since, of course, she got 3 before I got 1. On 2 different tunes, so that kind of just makes sense. Yeah, no legendaries, but you know what? I did have a really good week, and this is why. Convert to Mythic is now 2/7 Mythic. We killed Spider-Bird on Sunday, and that was Sunday. What am I talking about? On Thursday, and that was awesome. and had a good time raiding with the other guys too, making some progress with all the teams at the moment. So loving Warcraft, and of course, last week played a little bit of Overwatch, which was awesome too. And it's that time of year where there's a lot of fun stuff getting ready to happen with Halloween coming up. People dressing up, acting like goofballs, clowns, all that kind of weird, crazy stuff going on. And then, BlizzCon is right around the corner. So we're going to find out more new cool stuff. Not to mention, Tuesday is kind of a pretty huge day for Warcraft, which we talked a little bit about last week, but we may even talk a little bit about later on tonight too. So very, very excited about other stuff. So I'm not going to let those 3 legendaries that dropped in 1 week for Scarlet get me down, even though I really want to punch the screen.
Yep. As for me, my week has been busy with work for the most part, to the point where I had a 13-hour shift today, and I get to go back in the morning. So we are keeping our show schedule actually on point tonight, because I'm not giving them the option otherwise. In terms of in-game, no legendaries for me. And raid, daily quest, raid, doing the raid thing, all that fun stuff. A little bit of heroes, did the brawl, blah, blah, blah. I'm the only one who cares, I know. Nothing overly amazing. Getting ready. Halloween time. I do have a funny story, and unfortunately I don't have a story time with Draven, because I don't do this all that often. Where I'm working, where I was at work earlier today, because it's weird. People were coming through with Halloween costumes, and this little kid was like going crazy about his Halloween costume, and this is what you look like. And it was a scary mask. I was like, that's not what she looks like. That's what I look like when I wake up. And he went, no, this other thing here. And it was like this evil tutu looking thing. I was like, no, that's what I meant. That's what I look like when I wake up. And they just gave me this weird look, and I'm just like, and it was funny.
So you're trolling the kids, is what you're saying.
Of course.
I'm kind of thinking you might want to be careful with the children's. They may want to take you somewhere and lock you up if you're not careful. Joking with the children's, Draven.
Hey,
Be careful.
I used to work in a movie theater. I've made no secret of that. I've mentioned it many times. Back with the last Harry Potter that I was working there at the time, people were coming in dressed up as whatever character. The last kid came in was dressed up as Harry Potter. I want one for Harry Potter, and I'm like, dude, they just got the last one. And I'm just staring at him blank face like there's nothing I can do. And he just looked like his face just dropped like you would have thought I ran over his cat right in front of him. And I'm like, sorry, man, I had to. I gave him the ticket for free just because he was a good sport about it. But he was a good sport. I gave him the ticket for free, so yeah. It happens. I have to have fun at someone's expense most of the time. Usually it's my own expense. But every now and then, I will expend other people.
Speaking of expenses, did you pay Shakushu this week?
I ain't paying him.
Oh,
still going. Okay.
Anyway, so that's been our week. So, like I said, we're keeping tight schedule this week. So, showtime is Blizzard news.
This is the Blizzard news you can use.
So, up first, yay! Yeah, those were trolls. Up first!
don't worry, I took care of it.
Thank you. BlizzCon is coming up because nobody else knew about it. I'm kidding. This is like the thing to do in November. 4th and 5th, that kind of thing. Back when I was planning on actually going, I had my ticket, I requested off Tuesday through Tuesday because I was going to be out there on Tuesday, hopefully. And hopefully get a tour of Blizzard HQ. Clearly I'm not going, so that's not going to happen. But got my virtual ticket. I might have placed a couple orders for the BlizzCon store, which I can't talk about because I'm not keeping any of it. So yeah, that'll be fun. Did you guys pick up any of the before we get going? Any of the store stuff?
I wanted to, but I have to pay the dentist. So, nope.
It's kind of like the Reaper. You gotta pay the dentist. I have not yet, but it's because I have not bought my virtual ticket because today's payday, so it may still happen.
I have a question for you guys.
42.
What would you do if
42.
someone you have met once but are not friends with, just know them, asked you to buy something off the BlizzCon store because they didn't want to buy the virtual ticket?
Depends. Are they giving you money, or are they giving you money before you buy it?
I don't know. I didn't get to that part. But I think basically the first request was I just buy it for them. I said no. Then they said, well, is there some way you could put in my debit card? And I was like, I don't feel comfortable with that either.
No, I wouldn't do that. Have them send you money through PayPal or something, and then as soon as it's cleared, then you can buy it. But yeah.
Is this person local, or is this person someone you know from across the countries?
It was the kid I met on the bus a couple weeks ago who plays Hearthstone.
When you say kid,
like,
how old of a kid?
I'm really not sure because I'm really bad at guessing ages, but I'm going to say like 17 to 20.
Give me money up front.
Pretty much.
I told him. I said no. I was like, no.
I can't afford it.
Well, that's what I said. And then that's when they're like, well, somehow give you my debit card information. I was like, I don't want to know your debit card information. Like, that's just weird. Don't volunteer that.
Yeah.
And then I said, why don't you split the virtual ticket with because he said his brother played, so. And then he laughed and said, I don't watch any of that stuff. So I don't know. Howland agrees, don't buy it for strangers. That's what I thought. But then I felt like a jerk, so I don't know.
Nah, you're fine.
Fair enough.
Agreed.
But anyway, BlizzCon, yay! And yay, Howland's off so you can watch it live. Or is he going to be working BlizzCon?
So I have an idea. Two Arts was talking about watching BlizzCon and in pajamas and drinking wine. So I think we all should have a pajama party over the interwebs watching BlizzCon.
So I already have plans for watching the virtual ticket.
Okay, so you don't count, but everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to be here by myself, then maybe, but yeah, I'm not going to be in my area. I'm going to go watch Doctor Strange the night before, and then...
Oh yeah, that launches. That looks amazing.
Yeah, but anyway, before we're completely horribly derailed, I do want to try to keep, on track. First up, Hearthstone has this weird competition. Scarlett, you brought this to my attention, so why don't you tell us about this?
So I'm not exactly sure how it goes because I read the thing and I voted for someone, but what I'm understanding is, so basically you pick who you want or who you think is going to do well or win in the BlizzCon championships. And then for there's a certain number of games that they win, you basically get packs, if I'm understanding it correctly. So the better they do, the more packs you get. But it's not like one pack per win. I think it's like one pack per 5 or 6 wins. I'm not sure. But I thought that was pretty cool. So do you want me to say who I voted for, or are we going to discuss that? Or
I mean, I'm assuming you voted for the person you think is going to win the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's also someone I really like watching on Twitch, and they're hysterical, actually.
Okay. Well, I say we save it because we're going to go in through our predictions anyway.
Okay.
So we'll just hold off on that. Have you tried this thing, Theory?
I've not tried it. However, I think this is something pretty cool because it's almost like Blizz is setting up their own fantasy, like fantasy football, fantasy baseball, fantasy sports. It's like fantasy BlizzCon because of the way that you're picking your team, in a sense.
Well,
So,
they did the same
cool
thing
idea.
with Heroes over for Heroes of the Dorm this past year. They had that competition of get your fantasy bracket.
Bracket competition, exactly.
And Mosley from our CTR guild won that. So, congrats to you again, sir.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool thing. It's kind of neat to see that it is being continued. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know that much about Hearthstone competitors in esports to really have much of a educated guess. But like you said, we're going to talk about that a little bit more a little later. But I've not done it yet myself. So if I do, it will be random.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I picked it too. I was like, I don't know. I didn't see any names that I really recognized, so I was like, that name looks familiar. Click. But moving on, that was something cool. So thank you for that, Scarlett. I did also vote for who I thought was going to win. And speaking of, we're just going to go ahead and go straight into our predictions. We're going to skip all the, hey, Diablo 3 new season started earlier. Well, we just mentioned that.
You can get legendaries in there, by the way. Just saying.
Okay. I have my Corrupted Ashbringer in Diablo. I'm good. Now I have
Yeah, whatever.
Alright, so I just picked off one of the brackets here. So, Scarlett, who'd you vote for? Who do you think's going to win?
Tice. I voted for Tice.
Never heard of him.
What? He's this Netherlands kid. But he's a pretty interesting streamer. But he's on the same team as Life Coach. And him and Life Coach actually are buddies. I posted a video the other day of... So they had a bet.
I know who it is now.
Yeah. So they're basically these two guys. They're teammates on... I forget their team for Hearthstone. However, they're teammates, and so they had a bet who could, when the month of August rolled around, they had a bet who could reach Legendary first on Hearthstone, and the loser had to go. What's the word?
Bungee jumping.
Yes, thank you. Bungee jumping. So Tice lost actually to Life Coach, and so they did a video. They attached a GoPro to him, and then they threw him off this really long tower thing. But as a good sport, then Life Coach did it too. So I thought that was kind of cute. But yeah, he's a really entertaining streamer. If you guys haven't watched him, so watch.
Right,
but he's usually early in the mornings.
All right, well, do me a favor, and after the show, send me a link to his stream, and I can put it in the show notes.
Okay.
Theory, who did you randomly select for the Hearthstone winner?
So I picked the coolest name, which was Dr. Hippie, from the list that I saw. So Dr. Hippie, you have my vote.
Yeah. I went with Handsome Guy, because that was actually a name I recognized.
And that's the second coolest name.
Yeah. So, woohoo. Good luck to everyone involved, obviously. I'm still going to root for Handsome Guy just because I picked him. And then there was the Overwatch World Cup. Again, I just picked a random bracket here that is in this. There's a bunch of teams, and I know over on the other podcast I do with Totem, Heroes Never Die, shameless plug, we had already talked about who we think is going to win and all that fun stuff. It looks like everything is just sorted into country and not actual teams, though. So it's just, you pick a country and you go. Scarlett, who do you think?
I actually don't know the Overwatch teams, so I have no idea.
Pick one.
I can't actually see their names on the screen.
Pick a
It's too
country.
small.
Just countries.
Oh! Is there Canada? I can't see. I honestly can't read that. What's the countries? I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing. If you got into our Discord and looked at the actual area that's called, show pictures that Theory sends me every week, you would actually be able to see a bigger picture.
There is a Canada, by the way.
Then I pick Canada.
All right.
Speaking of that, I have something to tell you about later.
Oh, later?
Well, I mean, I can tell you now. It's a little off topic. I was in Diablo, and this boss came out, and you know how the bosses in Diablo have a name and they have a title?
Wait. Did he drop a legendary?
Not that one, no.
Okay, all right. Never mind. Keep going.
His name was Saskatchewan. That's awesome. So, they did a shout out to Canada. So I'm shouting out to Canada for the Overwatch, even though they're not related. But still.
All right. Fair enough. Theory. Overwatch World Cup. Who do you think's going to take the overall win?
I'm going to go with Russia.
Okay. This isn't hockey, but sure.
Well, they just won the raid race in WoW, so I'm going to ride that pony for a little bit.
Fair enough. I, having been able to do a little bit of research, I'm going with Europe. Most specifically Sweden.
That is
a
continent.
Yes.
Okay,
I believe
Sweden.
I think the couple guys I know not know personally, but know of, are in Sweden. So I'll pick Sweden to win.
I'm going with the Northern Hemisphere.
Just about. Warcraft. Of note, the ones that are not on here, we have 2 method teams, and they fight each other in round 1 of Group B. So that's going to be that'll be method versus method. So we can't have them in the finals. But Scarlett, you probably pay more attention to this than either Theory or I. Who do you think's going to take the Warcraft PvP tournament?
I'm voting for Method.
EU or NA?
NA.
Okay.
Although, actually, to be fair, I vote for NA because I don't know, for some reason I'm biased, but I honestly think the EU ones kick a little bit more butt. But I'm still going with NA.
Storm.
Or not.
Okay. So, Theory, you're going with Tempo Storm?
Yes, I am.
All right. I am going with Luminosity, the team that's going against Panda Global. So, we haven't agreed on any of these yet.
Wait a second. You said Luminosity? This is Longzhu Gaming. Is that the same people?
Oh, I misread that then. Then I'm not going with them.
Yeah,
I'll go with Panda
Longzhu
then.
Gaming.
I'm going with Panda then. All right. So, still, we haven't agreed on any of them yet. Heroes, of note, Dignitas and Astral Authority, formerly known as Murloc Geniuses, are not on this list. That being said, they have a bye, so that's why. Who do you guys think? I know it's going to be a random stab in the dark. Scarlett?
I honestly have no idea.
Randomly pick someone then.
Who are you going for?
I'm going last because I actually know these teams.
All right, I'll pick Team Dignitas.
I'm going with the whatever Draven goes with. End of story.
No, you have to pick first.
I'm just gonna be agreeing with you, so.
That's why I'm having you go. That's why I'm telling you to go first. You can't agree with me. Well, I mean, you could. You could randomly pick who I'm going to pick. I doubt it, but you could.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I pass on this one.
Okay, so you are going to be going with, I believe that says Reborn. That'll be your pick.
All right, I'm going with Reborn.
Okay, just so you know, there is very little chance of them beating Denial whatsoever. But
Oh.
Fair enough. I will be going with MVP Black.
You know what's funny? I almost picked them. Like, literally,
Yeah.
I almost picked them.
The only...
Denial?
I mean, I am rooting for Astral
MVP
Authority.
Black.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Astral or Denial, but I really doubt Denial is going to beat MVP Black if they make it that far. And I really want to see Astral win, but I think MVP Black is going to be like, no, screw you guys, we're going to win. Since they couldn't make it to BlizzCon last year because they did something stupid. So...
I think this may be the most we've covered esports tournaments in a really long time.
Probably. And the last one, I know you guys aren't going to care about this one, but this is the one that has the longest running, and that is StarCraft. Randomly pick your guys. And for the record, Neeb here is the Neeb who won the Korean one not too long ago.
Let's go with Neeb.
Theory?
I'm thinking I'm going to go with stats.
Yeah. I am personally rooting for Neeb. Let me get the other bracket. Why is it? Podcasting at its best. I'm actually thinking either Showtime or Beyond, but I'm going to go with Showtime. I want to see Neeb win because he's American, and I think he's the only American in that, but it's honestly probably going to be Showtime. Whoever wins between Showtime and Beyond, that's who is going to take that, I think. So, I will write down all of the things we got whenever I do the show edits, and we'll see who is closest. But since we're talking BlizzCon and we're predicting things, what do you think opening ceremony-wise? Like, what big announcements are you expecting or hoping to see? And I will be writing these down and see who's closest for that too. Scarlett, you're the lady of the show. You can go first.
Well, if we listen to the rumor mill, Diablo 4, or some kind of big Diablo release. I honestly think it's probably going to be a different Diablo altogether. Maybe, I don't know if it'll be called 4, but a different kind of Diablo. I don't think there's going to be any huge Warcraft announcements. I don't know. But I honestly think the first thing will be a Diablo announcement, because one is they were hiring for an unannounced project, like, what was that, 6 months ago, a year ago? Mm-hmm. And the other thing that could possibly be is that since people are migrating to other Blizzard stuff, there could be an unannounced project, but I don't think that they're ready for that yet.
Okay. Do you have any, like, for any of the other games, any predictions that are coming? Kind of go through the line of games, and what do you think we're going to get?
Hearthstone, probably. What did we just have? We just had a... I don't even know what the two things are called, but we just
Kara
had
was the adventure, so expansion.
Yeah, adventure, that's the word. Yeah, exactly. So there probably is going to be a Hearthstone expansion, which I'm saving up my gold. No, they kind of threw, like, the Argent tournament and goblins and gnomes are just so wacky that I have no idea. But they are nerfing murlocs. So in the last couple days, any of the Hearthstone, they nerfed anything that said buff a murloc. When a murloc comes out, it only now says buffs your murlocs. So there's not a lot of murloc versus murloc.
That's not a nerf. That's a buff to your own personal murlocs.
No. But before, let's say if you had a Murloc deck and I had a Murloc deck and I pulled out one
my
of those
buffs
cards.
buff yours. Yeah. So if
Exactly.
my buffs don't buff yours, then that helps me. It doesn't hurt me.
Correct. However, it seems that they're expecting more Murloc versus Murloc decks for some reason.
Gotcha. I see where you're going.
So, unless they expect a big change in the meta or something released that, we don't know yet. So it might be something Murloc related, but I can't really see a whole thing other than what they've already released. So I'm going to say that would be part of it, but not fully. For Overwatch, obviously Sombra, they need to just release her now. And if they don't, it would be hysterical to have something else released instead. I think you would get all the nerds upset. That's true. Darkmoon Fair could be a Hearthstone adventure. That would actually be funny. Heroes and Starcraft, no idea. New heroes in Heroes, probably. For WoW, maybe more on the final end boss of this X-Pack, but not a huge, because they just released like a huge thing, so I don't know. That's what I think.
Okay. And like I said, whenever I do the show edits, I will be taking notes on this stuff, and we'll see. Theory, your opening ceremonies prediction.
Okay, opening ceremonies is going to be mainly about 25 years of Warcraft, or whatever many years it is. It'll be a lot of anniversary thanking people that have been there and have left. A lot of that. As far as announcements, for Warcraft to begin with, you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff about Nighthold, including the next raid, and like Scarlett said, the last boss of the next raid, and possibly a teaser for what may be coming after that, but not much as far as information. Diablo, I think, will not be a new game. I think it will be another expansion for Diablo 3. I think there is going to be a basically new IP based on Starcraft. I think that's what the new one is, because they haven't given Starcraft love other than these little Nova adventures for quite some time.
Well, I'm going to jump in here and cut you off, but it's done. Starcraft is done. They already said that. They're not doing anything.
I don't think it's going to be a continuation. I think it's going to be a new game that is based on the Starcraft universe. So almost like a new IP, but just with Starcraft as the backstory.
So kind of like Hearthstone to Warcraft?
And Howland, I think you're pretty much right on that. I don't know if they've come right out and said that as far as Tomb of Sargeras being confirmed as the next raid or not, but I think that that's pretty well thought out at this point, that's probably what it's going to be. Some form of Sargeras at the end, which is why I think that there could be more about what's after that coming. As far as Hearthstone, I agree that Darkmoon Faire would make a great adventure, but I think the next one's going to be an expansion, and I think it's going to be based upon Azshara, because there's been a lot of new story for Azshara going on, which makes a lot of sense with your Murloc
yeah, it does.
buff/nerf. So maybe that'll
That's
end up
true.
being a thing.
What if they do Nagas
Exactly.
in Hearthstone?
Nagas and Murlocs, which I also have a feeling that that's going to make a resurgence even further in Warcraft, even more than it has already. So we'll see what happens with that. What does that leave out? Oh, Overwatch. Overwatch, more maps, more heroes. I don't think it'll just be Sombra. I think it'll probably be a few. And probably a couple of maps too. They'll basically tease them. They'll probably release Sombra and then tease 2 or 3 more, and a couple of more maps, maybe even a new play mode. And I think I covered everything, right?
Heroes.
Heroes, again, more maps, more heroes. The thing about heroes is I would love them to come out with something new, but because of the style of game it is, other than skins and new characters, it's kind of hard to and maps. It's kind of hard to come out with new stuff. So
Like,
those
what kind of new are
expect.
you thinking though? Like, what would you like?
Well, I mean, it just something to bring people to the game. It's been out for a little while now, and other than an occasional character or a new map, there's not really anything to bring new players to it, and that's really what they need. So if they could come up with something with Heroes to bring more people in.
They did just do basically the Tavern Brawl only for Heroes.
Right. So maybe an expansion on that idea.
Yeah.
To try to continue to bring more people in. I just feel like they can't really have a Heroes expansion. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
it's
depending on
type of
depending on how you look at it, the Diablo thing was kind of an expansion. The Starcraft thing was kind of an expansion. We might get a WoW thing for kind of an expansion. They're not really expansions, but
That's kind of my point. Is it doesn't make sense for it really to be an expansion, but a new set of heroes and a couple of maps. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. But I feel like it needs more. Those are basically what I'm saying. And did they even announce who the music artist is yet?
as of before we started the show tonight, no.
Nope.
It'd be interesting if they even have one.
All right, so before I go into mine, I already know who I'm picking for who I think it's going to be for music. Scarlett, who do you think will be the music artist?
Someone was saying on Twitter, Red Hot Chili Peppers have other concerts around that time. They're a 90s rock band kind of flavor. So that's the big speculation.
Okay, but who do you think it's going to be? Not who does Twitter think it's going to be?
I'm going with Twitter because otherwise it's going to be some hair metal band that they all love. You know, it's going to be, if it's not Red Hot Chili Peppers, I would say I can't think of their name now, so I'm just going to go with Chili Peppers.
Theory? What's your theory of the band?
Well, I was, looking at new releases. That's kind of what makes sense to me. Things that make sense. I could see them going completely like left field and having somebody like Snoop Dogg or something like that. But I don't think that would go over very well. As far as like new stuff, Blink-182 just had a new release, so it kind of makes sense in a weird way for them to be there.
Didn't they have Blink once?
Yes, Weezer just had a new release, which, or maybe One Republic, but none of those really kind of completely fit, the target there.
Weezer, out of those three, Weezer would be the closest one.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Chili Peppers thing isn't bad, especially because they're kind of from that area anyway. But the other one that's new is Green Day. I mean, you don't tell me you know who Green Day is.
No, I know who Green Day is. I was reading Mike's. Who's GWAR?
GWAR is...
That will never happen.
I don't know. That would be pretty amazing.
That would be funny.
5 minutes of it.
That would be funny, but that will never happen. I've seen video of their concerts. It will never happen. BlizzCon takes place indoors.
What about like this is probably too big for BlizzCon, but what about like Ozzy Osbourne or something? Because that would totally fit the job. Ozzy's been to BlizzCon?
Yeah. And Metallica has been there.
Oh yeah, he did the Warcraft expansion commercial one, so I guess that's not a thing. Okay.
The other thing I could think is maybe they'll just pull in like an EDM type artist, so that it's not really necessarily a concert, but there's somebody like maybe Deadmau5 or something like that that's a relatively well-known EDM artist to just have music playing throughout the festivities, in between stuff, which would be cool, and I think people would kind of appreciate that, at least some of them, because it's not necessarily a concert at that point. You know what I mean? It's more of like a mingle while there's music playing situation.
And to answer that question in chat you put in, Scarlett, no, don't do it now. Do it after the show or tomorrow, but not now. You'll regret it. As for me, for predictions...
You're gonna scare me?
Yes. For predictions, I am in the Red Hot Chili Peppers boat. They just had a new release. They are going to be in the area. It just all points there. If it's not them, I would say probably Green Day. Those are my top 2 of who I think would be. Who would I like to see? That's another story altogether. Personally, I would love to see Weird Al there, but only if I'm actually there to be in attendance.
That would be cool.
Okay, so am I the only one
Yes.
who just cringes at Weird Al?
It's silly stuff.
just-
He's silly. You don't take it seriously. He's a parody singer. I don't think they'll ever actually get him, but it would be really funny.
It's like, I don't even, it's so awkward. It's like watching someone with their zipper open and you're just like, I don't know where to look, and it's so awkward and I don't know you, so I can't say, but it's just awkward. Like, it's just, Weird Al is just so awkward.
So, being a gamer, you should know how to embrace the awkward.
I like embracing the
You have
awkward.
to
I
embrace the awkward.
just Weird Al is just so weird.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I think that'll be great, but it'd be another one of those situations. I mean, somebody like Chili Peppers, that they're going to pack the area.
Weird Al would pack it too. Just people like Scarlett
Yeah.
wouldn't go. Like I didn't go to see Linkin Park last year. I was in the Overwatch line or the Heroes line or both actually. I was busy. I wanted to do other things. I didn't care. Apparently, they put on a great show. I could hear it. I didn't need to see
If they
it.
got Aerosmith, that would be amazing.
Okay, so anyway, back to predictions. For opening ceremonies, I predict it's going to start with Mike Morheim saying, "Thanks, everybody," asking people how many times they've been to BlizzCon, etc., and so forth. He does that every year as a safe prediction. But in terms of everything else, Metzen will not personally be on stage. I do not think he'll be there. I wish he would be, but I don't think he will be. They'll have someone instead. Maybe a Samwise, who knows. Gaming, Hearthstone, much like you guys, it's going to be an expansion. Probably at the end of November it'll be available, because I don't think they're going to do... Oh, it's available next week. I don't think they're going to do that. I think maybe by the end of the month. Warcraft, you're going to get a little bit more info on 7.1. Not a whole lot.
7.1's already dropped, so you mean 7.2?
7.1 is just getting ready to drop. So
It comes out on Tuesday.
yeah, but when I say 7.1, I'm talking the raid, which is not out yet. Going to get a little more detail on that. Not a whole lot. They're going to focus mostly on future, which will be 7.2 with Nighthold, and we already know we're fighting Gul'dan there. So they're going to go into more detail on that particular raid and stuff like that. They might even tease, more than likely, Tomb of Sargeras as the final raid. Whether we fight him or not, probably not. Another story. They are definitely going to tease something about Jaina. They're not going to give us any detail, but she'll be teased somewhere. And
What if
Yeah.
it's all a troll? What if Jaina's just sitting there, just like, fine, I'll let you guys do things, but she's not actually super mad and super, like, pissed off?
if that was the case, she would have got over it and would be helping fight for the world she lives in. Yeah. Overwatch, we're going to get 2 heroes. One, no one knows about, and they're going to go through the whole system thing. And before I finish that, I'm going to go through all the other games first, because I just remembered about something involving, obviously, Sombra, who will be revealed at BlizzCon. So, Diablo, we're going to get a tease. Whether it's an expansion or Diablo 4, who knows? It's literally going to be, at most, 30-second tease, cinematic type thing, saying it's coming. That's it. No real information, just a tease. Starcraft, I don't think we're getting anything at all. So, there's that. Heroes, maybe a map. I think we're going to get Mathiel, I think is how you say his name, from Diablo, the Reaper, Death guy. And who was the other one? There was another hero, and I can't remember the name. Doesn't matter. We're going to get a total of 3 heroes, though. But Reaper from Reaper of Souls, him, is for sure, I think. But getting back to the Sombra thing, during the entire opening ceremony, static every so often. Just like, you know, and for the background screen, every so often, just a little static thing. Just a kind of a hint at the ARG thing that's been going on. Maybe not for the 25 years and look back and we remember these guys, they're not here anymore, that kind of thing. Maybe if they do that, no big deal. But
Thanks, Mike.
told you not to look it up.
Sorry, I'm done. I can't see that at BlizzCon. I can't.
But anyway, what I think will happen with Sombra during all the other video game announcement parts, like a flash of static every so often, and they're gonna say, "Sorry, we're having some tech difficulties." The entire way through, Overwatch will be the last thing announced. And by the way, this is Overwatch. This is what's coming up new. New map, some ideas for new brawls, and a brand new hero that they didn't have any idea was coming. But it'll be that picture. Whoever that picture got leaked is not Sombra. That's what I want to see happen. And then to cap it all off, the lights just black out. And you hear her Sombra's voice, and she literally, quote unquote, hacks the screen at BlizzCon.
You know, if that happens, I'm going to say you hacked Blizzard servers. Because that's actually a really cool idea.
It is a good idea, and they should do something like that if they're going to continue with their little toying with people ways with Sombra. Wouldn't it be funny if Sombra was a dude?
I think with the ARG stuff, they've been able to confirm it's at least someone saying it's a girl. Which,
yes,
it's the internet. You know, guys never pretend to be girls on the internet.
No, because it's in Spanish. It's in Spanish, and it says she. And in Spanish, you have definitive male and female pronouns.
Yes, but what I'm saying is it's the internet. No one ever is a guy who pretends to be a girl. That never happens.
Maybe it's a trans character. That would be awesome.
Blizzard is, upfront like with that. I don't think that would be... I wouldn't care either way, but I don't think they'd say it.
You're ruining my fantasy, okay?
I would have chosen a different word than fantasy there, but okay. But anyway, that's my opening ceremonies. And then obviously you have all the panels and stuff like that. And Q&A will be interesting for all the games. But yeah. Do we have anything else, prediction-wise, that you want to touch on?
I see a whole lot of lore and a whole lot of, what's his name? You said his name just a second ago. I can't remember his name. Yeah, a whole lot of lore, a whole lot of Samwise.
Fluffy? I'm calling him Fluffy.
Will probably be there too, and yes, I know I said his name wrong.
Yeah. I'm calling Samwise Fluffy from now on.
Fluffy. Are we going to be talking about more BlizzCon stuff? Because if not, I have one thing relative to BlizzCon, but it's not really a prediction.
We probably will touch BlizzCon again, but nothing is overly planned at the moment.
So I follow two people on Twitter who are making some amazing cosplays, and I'm really excited about the costume contest. There is someone on Twitter who is going to be a Chromie, and I saw the products. First, I saw their hair. Their hair is going to be a perfect gnome hairdo, and then they made the dress, and then they made like plastic wings. It looks amazing. And then from CTR, I believe they're in CTR Kaz, she's done a couple things. She is going to be Greymane.
Correction. Her husband is going to be Greymane this year. She's not doing it. She's making it.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks amazing, and they were in the unfinished costume doing some emotes and just the wolf hand over the wolf snout. Oh my goodness, that was amazing and to die for. So I cannot wait, and I hope those two people win the finals.
We missed something big that just got brought up. The whole legacy server thing. It is going to be at least talked about like crazy and
in the
like
Q&A.
yeah, it's going to get brought up a whole bunch of times unless they announce it right in the very beginning. So yes, it'll be a very good shot game.
So yeah. For the cosplay, I saw someone was doing From Heroes and / Diablo Demonic Oreo, which is basically just red lit Oreo from Diablo. It looked really cool. If I can find it, I'll put that in the notes too, along with if Scarlett sends me, pictures, I can send links in the show notes. So lots of stuff in the show notes this week.
Of the people who are doing the cosplay?
Yeah, if you have if you have pictures of stuff like that, or Twitter, we'll link.
Yeah,
stuff.
let me go link their Twitters.
Yeah. Well, I meant for later, but if you want to put it in the chat, that's fine. All right. Okay, I think we can manage WoW in 20 minutes. So, World of Warcraft has some stuff going on. I think we're going to go ahead and talk about it.
World of Warcraft.
So, as was brought up, 7.1 is coming Tuesday. And if you're listening to this after Tuesday, well, it's already here, so there you go. And the question is, are we ready for 7.1? I know in terms of just something new, I'm always ready for something new in the game. In terms of anything else, I personally think it's too soon for it, but, it's no big deal. I'll get over that. But the big thing I'm really looking forward to is crashing the markets, because I have so much Blood of Sargeras. Yeah, all the stuff.
I might actually be able to finish getting my professions to 800 with the market crash.
Yeah.
There's a bright side to that cloud. That's a good one.
I believe there's a dark cloud to every silver lining.
So I will not be crashing the market. I will stop selling stuff that is simply just mats because they will be worthless. I will instead be using them to make my own stuff. I agree with you that it's a little bit early feeling, but the right feeling would probably have been BlizzCon week. So the fact that they're bringing it out now and then waiting for the raid until after BlizzCon is a pretty darn good compromise to it. I'm excited to do some Karazhan. That's going to be very, very fun.
The one part of Karazhan I'm not looking forward to is that last boss. That's the only part that I didn't.
It does look a little difficult.
I'm not even talking difficulty. I'm just talking I don't like the way it looks. Everything else looks great, but that one boss just to me. I mean, it looks difficult for sure, but it's more of a I don't care.
So we were talking a little bit about if it's a little too early, and if it's okay, I'd just like to point something out real quick. There is a web page for CTR. It's ctraidprogress.appspot.com, which is literally a progress website for all the different Convert to Raid raid teams from our mega guild that we're all in. And looking at that list, there is more than I expected that have cleared Heroic. Convert to Mythic, Idamami Enterprise, I know I'm screwing that name up, sorry, Warfront, and Don't Release have all cleared Heroic. And then you got several people that are 6 out of 7 Heroic. Altastic, Get Off My Lawn, Heartless, which that's a new one. I didn't even know they existed. They must be relatively new. Rectified. And then you got a few more below them. So if you're looking at it, I mean, Mythic's kind of the high end, so maybe we don't look at Mythic because the best Mythic we have is 2 out of 7 at this point. But if you just look at Heroic as kind of the benchmark, it definitely feels a little early. Even with 7 boss raid, to not have more teams that have cleared it, I'm a little surprised. But congrats to those teams that are doing great.
Yay! It's just one of those things. But yeah, honestly, it's a supplemental raid anyway, so it's not like we're going to be going in getting brand new gear overall. I know there are some of us who are still rocking some 825 trinkets. I have better or higher item level, but this one will give me the most DPS. So outside of a few rare things like the eye boss, I can switch that trinket out for an 850 because it gives me a ton of leech, which means I can stand in where they explode and it doesn't take as much damage. As long as I'm doing damage at the time, helps me survive a little better.
You heard it here, folks. Draven likes to stand in poo.
I always went for the higher item level for first raid tier. This is the first time I'm actually regretting that. Because usually the gear just has whatever stat I need, i.e. Death Knight and Mastery. Okay, on Agi gear, what's the regular stat that comes up?
Agi?
Yeah, there really isn't
crit.
one.
I have 38% crit as a tank. I think that's a little wrong.
As a demon hunter? That might be right.
No. According to Icy Veins, if I'm going for like 5-mans, it should be Mastery, Crit, Haste. So I guess it's my second, but Mastery is like 18% compared to the crit right now. And if it's for survival, for raids, it should be Versatility, Mastery, Haste, Crit. So I'm just really, 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 really badly itemized. Although, the legendaries I got, guess what they have on them?
Crit.
Or crit. All 3 of them. I'm just like... I don't know. It does help my defensives, but still not as the best way to get them.
I would think they would have salt on them. But the what you're saying though is true. I mean, as a prop paladin, if you go by what most of the actual websites say, it's versatility, haste, mastery for prop paladin. But there's so little versatility gear available, it's very hard to actually stack that up to a decent amount. So what most of the higher end prop pallies are doing are just going full haste. Problem with that is that whenever their mitigation is off, which is about 40% of the time, even with high haste numbers, they don't have mitigation up, other than cooldowns, they're going to get smacked in the face pretty hard, which makes them pretty spiky. Mm-hmm. You still have a lot of tricks, a lot of tools, a lot of cooldowns, things you can do to, negate damage. But when you've used everything and your mitigation wears off, it kind of sucks to not have the versatility that you really should have.
So are you gearing... Do you gear like DPS wise, tanking DPS, or do you gear tanking survivability?
So being that I'm on CTM now, I don't really have to worry a whole lot about doing a crazy amount of DPS as long as I can hold threat, because the DPS that's on that team are pretty much every single one of them is really good, much better than I can do as a DPS. So I don't really have to worry about that too much. A lot of the fights so far, especially on Mythic, are very tank dependent, especially considered to what we've had, not so much in Warlords, but previous expansions. There's a lot of mechanics. There's a lot of stuff that can one-shot the tanks. There's a lot of things where if you don't get the taunts perfect, you're just going to die, which kind of sucks. Yeah, Ursoc is one of those. Spider-Bird too. There's spiders under the spider. You're going to die. So it, for me, is all about trying to maximize survivability, whether it's through mitigation or cooldowns or what have you. So I'm kind of going for the most survivability possible, but because of the way the gear is, the gear I'm getting, the haste, it increases my DPS too. So I'm inadvertently increasing my DPS, but I don't have much of a choice because that's what's there. And I actually had this conversation with Rhino, who's one of the Paladin healers, and we were talking about it not that long ago. And it's kind of a crappy situation because if I could have haste verse on all my gear, I would. There's just hardly any of that available.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads me back to, will the reforging ever come back as far as our prediction go? I don't think it will, but I kind of hope it does.
Well, they said Vengeance was going away, and then they brought it back in a different way. So maybe they would like fine tune it a bit, but I don't think so. I think they like the random stats and not having like super reforged. That's my cat, by the way. Just in case you guys could hear that.
Police are at your door. They're coming to get you.
I moved this old table by the wall, and there's a box on it, so he was like scratching his ear, and the box and the table are like banging on the wall. Anyways, I digress.
So yeah, that's a thing. Up next, before I get into this, I just want to say, holy crap, that Warlock set right there looks amazing.
It does look cool, especially with that skull.
Yeah, that looks really cool. It makes me want to level my Warlock. Not enough to actually do it, but it makes me want to do it. But anyway, PvP is getting kind of a revamp-ish type thing. You're getting more rewards, such as more artifact power and stuff like that, from doing it. Well, here's kind of an example. More honor and more artifact power just from doing it and winning.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the continuation of the revamp of PvP is now got to the point where they're looking at rewards. I will say that I've not really PvP'd on more than an occasional whim for the last several expansions, but the fact that the World Quest zones have PvP is hysterical fun to me. I know Draven, a couple times we've met at Black Rock Hold, and that's always been fun. I've run into Tatva, I've run into Tovo, a lot of other people from Convert to Raid in those zones. And deciding whether or not we're going to kill each other is always the first couple of seconds, and then it's a blast. So it's a lot of fun.
I forget which zone it was. I think it's Azuna has the PvP with the Murlocs.
That's fun.
I ran into Tatva out there, and I see him, and I know he can kill me. So I literally target him, wave, untarget him, back up.
He still killed you, didn't he?
He still killed me.
Yeah.
I was like, jerk.
The first time I ran into Tatva was in the one in Stormheim, and yeah, he killed me. And then two people tried to gang up on him, and then it was on. So it was me and him fighting. It ended up being like 4 people. And then he was laughing about how they attacked a Guardian at the time. It's like, that's just kind of dumb. You don't really want to attack a bear tank right now in PvP, because they do pretty good damage, and it's going to take forever for you to try to kill them. So, yeah, not real smart. But, yeah, Tatva and Tovo are probably not the people you want to pick fights with.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So question, did you guys do the the weekly quest thing there?
The boss?
Yeah.
Which one?
No, not the boss. The weekly, you pick up the quest weekly, the weekly event quest thing. This week was PvP for
I did not do that.
5 battlegrounds.
Yep. It was tempting, but with everything else going on, I didn't do that.
I did. It was actually pretty fun. I went with a friend and we just did random BGs. Let's just say Demon Hunters get targeted a lot. But I killed some people and ran some flags. And it took probably like 7 games to win 5. It was not too bad. We really, really, really lost Temple of Kathmandu, whatever it is. Quite a few times. Yes. We just had this one guy. Okay, he got in, got the ball, and then just stood in the far corner, like off the map, like not in the middle, but like over there by the wall, as in the wall of the instance. And then
where you get no points. That's
exactly. And then 3 Horde picked up the other ones and were in the middle. And then my friend said they were probably all on voice chat or something, because they just immediately just like It was like if you're level 10 and you go up and you like tap one of the 112 world bosses on the shoulder, and then they're just like, bam. That's how the PvP went in there. It was really bad. But the rest of them were really fun.
Yeah, I just haven't done Battlegrounds this expansion. I did quite a few of them before Legion hit, testing out the Demon Hunter and moving around and jumping around. And since you actually did them, how is carrying? I'm assuming you did Warsong Gulch. How is carrying the flag?
It wasn't Warsong Gulch. It was the other one that's very similar to that, but I don't remember the name.
Peaks something.
Yeah. I didn't carry the flag in that one, actually. I carried the flag in... I'm really bad at PvP. The one where you're in the Draenei, like, Netherstorm area. Yes. So all me and my friend did, we let everybody else just go, like, keep 2 of the towers, and then we just ran the flags. And that was cool.
I would assume running flags as Demon Hunter would be pretty good because of the mobility.
Yeah, except I was a noob, and then I jumped on my mount, and then I was like, oh, fudge. Because you dropped a flag if you're on your mount.
Yay, self-censoring. Alright, anyway, so yeah, you're getting more rewards, etc., and so forth. Appearance levels are going to be based on your ranking. So you can't get the really cool stuff unless you rank up high enough for it, which is a change that a lot of the hardcore PvP people wanted, because they were like, I just started, why am I getting this elite gear? Well, it was random. It could Titan Force. No, we don't want that. Well, now that's how it works. So yay. Okay, so in keeping with we have about 6 minutes left total. Do we have anything else we want to touch on before we do our shout-outs and all that? Because, you know, I don't mind going long normally, but I got to get up really early in the morning, and there's a couple things I need to finish up.
That's what she said.
I got something real quick.
Not commenting on that one, Scarlett.
I think we touched on it last week, maybe, but if you happen to be an Amazon Prime member or you have friends or Amazon Prime members, you have the ability to get a free subscription because of your Prime membership on Twitch. So if you have that, or you know people that have that, encourage them to support their favorite streamers. If they are a member, you literally can almost hand them $5 for free because you've already paid Amazon. So do that.
Yeah, so even if they don't have a Twitch account, let them sign up for Twitch, and you can tell them who to give the thing to, because it's literally a free thing every month. You just have to remember to do it every month. You have to subscribe every month via Twitch.
I kind of like that, just because, you know, if you have multiple people that you like, but you don't have a lot of money, one month you give it to one month you give it to another. I think that this is one of those situations where it's pretty much win for everybody. So good on you, Amazon and Twitch.
Yep. So get on your personal Facebooks. You can do it that way. I know a couple streamers that are now going to be hitting up their family members. Like, you have Twitch Prime, or not Twitch Prime, you have Amazon Prime. Sign up for Twitch, connect it to, give me a free $5. That's literally how it will end up being. So, and if you want to do that, feel free. I do not have Amazon Prime because I almost never order anything off of Amazon. Otherwise, there's a few people I would like to, you know, give the extra $5 to, but I have to kind of pick and choose the ones I watch. So, Mike B has been my longest running sub. Second longest. Solid Jake got my first one. So, there, I got them too. So, yeah. Alright, so I guess we're going to do shout-outs. Scarlett, do you have any shout-outs for the week?
Yes. Shout out to the cosplayers who are doing all the last minute work for BlizzCon. That is really, really, really cool. I think that's super talented if you're making your own costume, even if you didn't make your own costume, but you like ordered the parts and whatever. Just to do cosplay in itself is pretty awesome. So shout out to everybody who is on going to be on the stage, and that's one of my favorite parts of the virtual ticket. other than all the announcements, so I will be watching.
Yay. And the funny part is, I was going through, finding some fun emotes to put in chat. I didn't even realize that chat's on screen, so you got to see me scrolling through while you're doing your shout-outs on top of, seeing you. Yes. Theory, do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out everybody on CTM, everybody on the fire department, and of course all the chickens as well. I do that pretty much every week, but those guys deserve it. Other than that, man, a huge shout out to Jules and all the other officers, including Pat at Convert to Raid, all the greeters, everybody that does a really, really fine job of making this place a fun place to play the game. You guys rock. Thank you.
Okay. As for me, I'm going to do a really strange shout out because I don't like doing the usual. Apparently, earlier today, there was like an internet outage for most of the East Coast and anything involving the East Coast. Well, when everything finally came back up, and that includes Twitter, I got one of the funniest Twitters I'd ever seen. One of the funniest tweets. It wasn't straight to me, it was just an in general thing. And it was, I wish someone would make a meme about this Twitter outage, but I don't think I'd get it.
That's pretty good.
So, Skolnick, you used to do the Warcraft Less Traveled podcast, which I always loved whenever you did them. I miss it. You get my shout out for just, making me smirk a little bit while I was dealing with my 13-hour day at work, which actually worked out because there was no internet anyway. All right. Hey, Scarlett, I got a question for you. If one were so inclined, how would someone get a hold of you on the internet?
There's a thing called Twitter, if it works, when people aren't taking out the whole internet. So I'm at Scarlett_CTR, and in-game on World of Warcraft or Overwatch, or at the moment Diablo. Well, not at the moment, but I mean in the next couple days Diablo.
Okay.
So, yeah.
One more question for you. Your Demon Hunter, does it have an H in the name?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Theory, I just noticed this. It took the entire show.
Oh
Look
my
at
god.
that. Ha! I screwed up your name.
That Scarlet spelling is not me.
That's Rhett, actually.
That would be Rhett, exactly.
So you know what's funny about that is those are from last Halloween, and I just recycled them.
So, fail Theory twice.
Yes.
Fail
Twice.
of the
So,
year.
Did we catch it last year?
Probably.
I don't remember.
So if you care, you can go to episode 37 and find out.
Theory, same question. If someone is so inclined, how do they find you on the internet?
So I am at Gank Theory on Twitter, Gank Theory on Facebook, Gank Theory on YouTube. It's pretty much Gank Theory everywhere you go. You can get me easiestly. I'm going to make up words, big words, because I know words.
As for me, at Draven Dresden over on Twitter, easiest way to get hold of me. If you want to get hold of the show, at Podcast Epic Fail, that's the show's Twitter. Go over to our website, epicfailpodcast.com. Helps if I, give us the information correctly. Leave us a comment, unless you're a spammer. And then don't, because I'm tired of deleting you. And you're the reason why I have the permissions set the way they are. If it's a legitimate comment, you get posted. If it's a spammer, or I think it's a spammer, not gonna happen. You're just gonna get deleted. You can also find me over on another podcast called Heroes Never Die. We did plug that one earlier, but I'll do it again. That is mostly Overwatch, and that is with Totemly Drunk. We have a lot of fun. We are eventually going to do video. He's going to be in charge of that one, so there should be less drop frames. So that's good.
And they should probably have less fails.
No. It pretty
Minus
much
you, minus me, I'm thinking that's got to be a win.
Well, no, I'm thinking because he actually introduces me as the man with the fail. So right off the bat, there's fail involved, and I always try to do something weird as my intro. And like 2 weeks ago, we made it hold the door, which was funny because that's when Somber Thing came out. And I don't. This one was an interesting one. We'll just put it that way. I didn't name this show though. I was sad. But anyway, at Draven Dresden, that's the easiest way to find me. Yeehaw. Do we have any last words for the show this week? I'm going to take that as a no. So then, as per usual, the last words of our show shall be...
Okay, bye. Hello, mother.
You know, the world could always use more heroes.